All right. Making sure everything was running. All right, we're on day 6 of working on American Girl. Speeds are getting up there. This is the intro and verse I've been focusing on. I kind of feel like this is the last day I'm going to spend on these really focused, and then I'll move to the chorus section tomorrow. Just to get a little change of pace, because we're pretty much at full tempo, or really close to full tempo on a lot of things. This is a guitar. Oh, my mouse stopped working. That's interesting. All right, so this is the lead guitar part, or what we have on our website labeled as lead guitar. Mike Campbell's playing both those parts, but we just labeled it lead because it has the solo and more stuff going on. So yeah, we got this section up, the last half of the first verse up to full speed. We got this really close to 100. So let's kind of warm up on this idea today. Slow it down to 80. Just kind of get those 16th notes back. The main thing that I want to kind of carry over is I want to be able to play relaxed. And I need to work on this as an exercise, as a technique, and just kind of make it a part of my all the time playing. One of the ways to do that, slow your tempo down and just really focus on right hand technique. Easier to do at slower tempo, so that's why we're going to warm up at 80. We're going to try to push this all the way to 115 today. 4, 1 E into 2 E into. And 4 E into. I call myself out on this stuff all the time. I was trying to right now just get in the zone of like, okay, how does that feel? That end of 3, I go 3E end, right? I kind of give up early. I do that a lot. Follow through with your strums. It's like golf. Follow through with your stroke or baseball. I think those are close equivalencies. So 1E into 2E into 3E end 4E into 1E into 2E end 3E into 4E into 1E into 2E into 3E and 4. There we go. 3E into 4E into 1E into 2E into 3E and. All right, slower tempos again, used to play more exact. Now as we get up to faster speeds, I'll allow some sloppiness in there. Just really trying to always be able to just play it perfectly in time is the ambition. Thinking hard about making sure that eighth note by itself is not accented, which sometimes you hear that I do. All just the little things that I'm thinking of as I'm kind of like warming up to the part. You know, want to play it in time, want to play it relaxed. Keep the up by fours. Sounded good. So back up to 100 already, which was, I think, where I left it off. So it feels good. Like every day you're just pulling it up to a little bit faster tempo. Like it's quite often we try to like win the race right away. We're like, I want to play this good right off the bat. It's like, well, if your 16th note strum isn't good, you're going to struggle. As soon as you get to these faster tempos, you're going to sound like crap, which, you know, I would right away. Like oftentimes I've faked this in a cover band for years. I faked this in a different cover band for years. I played the idea of it, but I wasn't exact. You know, and I didn't know what I was playing. So there's some differences of that. Just really owning the rhythm. So taking the song and making exercise out of it is one of the best ways that I found out to learn. Keeps me more engaged too. Always go back to the mutes. Allows you to just hear it better. Hear that little bit of tension in my playing at these faster tempos, which is fine. The only way that you're going to get rid of this is by going up to, you know, faster tempos. Playing it, getting used to it. So we're 3 away from full speed. So we'll try to keep it in time. Try not to put that accent on. Not doing a great job. 3, 4, 1 into 2 into. So, even though that wasn't great, I mean, it's the idea, right? It just feels a little pushed and rushed. So let's start going over tempo. So 116, full speed of the song is 115, and we're probably going to try to push this to 118, understanding that each of these tempos is going to get probably a little progressively sloppier. But the idea is you're lifting with heavier weights. And so that then when we take those heavier weights off, it becomes a little bit easier for us to play. A little tough for me. You know, some bad technique carrying over. Got to really just watch my right hand. Staying relaxed at these faster tempos. We're gonna be okay with it sounding like crap for right now. Let's go to 118. Which is a hard thing when I tell students that too. It's like, be okay with it sounding bad when you're learning your first chords, when you're learning your first riff. As long as you're playing, as long as you're getting engaged and slowly getting better. Don't stare under a fucking microscope and expect every single practice to be the best practice you ever had. Just push that ball forward. We're going to slow this back down. So let's go back to 115, which is full speed. Hopefully it's a little bit more relaxed. We're going to have to do that again. It's kind of my goal in the next 2 days is, like I said, probably take a break from these as hard as I've been working on the intro and verse section. Spend a little time on the chorus getting that idea. So you let an idea cook. Let it simmer, I guess would be the right term. Clearly don't do a lot of cooking. But you let that idea simmer. You've learned the idea of it. You kind of move on to some other sections. They're going to present ideas that are similar, right? It's the same song. And then from there, you kind of like just level it up and keep on getting a little bit better at all this stuff all the time. And then we'll track some. So probably by next week, we'll be tracking. So better. We're going to leave that. So chances are I'm going to try to do that again tomorrow is our 115 and kind of push it maybe the goal is on all these sections 125 and then work on the new stuff as well. So the other riff in this song, first half of the verse we're really not worrying about. It's so second half of the verse is really what we're focusing on this lead guitar part. So we got this up to full speed yesterday. Same idea. We're gonna do it at full speed a couple times. I don't think we need to slow this one down. No, let's slow this down to 100 just to tighten it up. And then tomorrow, same thing. That's kind of also why we're moving to different sections. Like, I keep on beating these into the ground, but probably don't have to. Let's do 105. So the part is. It's so funny, out of context, right? If you don't move quickly from that, it just sounds a little wrong unless you're moving to the next part. All right, so those 4 measures, let's hear how fast 105 is, and we'll just jump in. It's a little faster than I thought. 1 2 and 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 E and a 2. I had the same problem yesterday where I could play this, but I couldn't count it at this tempo. 1 2 and 3 4. So I'm debating. It would probably help me tighten it up if we slowed it down. So I could actually do a couple where I'm counting that rhythm. It's good to feel it, like it really is, but I'd like to know it as well. Like I'd like to go 1 E and 2, 1 E and 2 E and. That's what gets me. The dotted 8th note and then essentially another dotted 8th note just leads with the 16th in that one. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Did I count that right? 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Just helps. I mean, the more you understand the count, the more you can hear that in your head and then just play along with that instead. People will think you're a little crazy, bobbing your head and play the beat at the same time. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 E and 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3. 1 E and 2 and 3. 1 E and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That one I didn't count, you could tell. Let's do a couple more. I just, I would like to be done or better at hearing this rhythm, but, if I'm struggling as I am right now, probably means I don't know it. 2, 3, 4, 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. let's speed it back up and maybe ditch the counting. See if I can keep it going. One and two and three, four. One and two and three. Three, four. One, two, three, four. Let's speed it up. Let's do 107, then we're halfway to full speed. Relatively halfway to full speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Got a little lost. 2, 3, 4. Go full speed. Trying to get one perfect one, and every single take had a little bit of like a flub here or there. All right, we'll go a little faster than full speed. Kind of same idea. Doing the other part, and then we'll head over to the rhythm guitar, what we notated as the rhythm guitar. They're kind of like they're electric guitar parts. They're the electric guitar parts in American Girls. A good way to say it. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea as I make a mistake on the way out, but 115, feel good about that. So those are those two sections. You know, the rest of that lead up to the chorus really doesn't bother me. 1, 2. Like that I can play. I don't need to work on that. It's enough of a carryover from these other ideas, both rhythmically and just, you know, what notes they're playing. So that's why it's like, it's okay to focus so much time on 4 measures. Find 4 measures that are like a similar idea throughout. That's a better thing to do than being like, all right, I'm going to learn measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4. Measure 5 is different than 1, and I'm going to learn that nuance. Don't spend your time learning the nuance right away. You can add that. It's so much easier to make one deviation, like even this G chord down the road. be easy to make these slight little changes from the G chord that's earlier. They look similar enough. So I don't know. Sometimes if you try to learn too much at once, you just don't get anywhere. All right, so we're going to spend a little time on, this is probably the part of the two that I'm the worst at, so we'll start with that. And I think that gets us through most of the intro. I guess on this one we have not even looked at verse. We'll look at verse on this one next day, tomorrow. So let's do 70. You know, I like starting like 20 below because it's a good way to clean out any slop that might be carried over from just like not being warmed up on the part or not knowing the part well enough. So if I got up to 90, you know, guessing that I could do 70 right away is probably a good bet. Alright, let's do this right though. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3 and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Try to just jump right in at 70. A lot of 16th notes. And a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and. You know, anything that you're not used to playing, right, is like you're picking up techniques. Now, maybe I use the word technique too much, but like this nuance of playing 1E and 2E and you know, this nice small movement with my pick, and at good speeds and putting slides in, that's enough to just throw me off. It's a little bit like I have to think about that. It's not natural yet, so that's why I spend 15-20 minutes on just this part. Trying to make it natural for yourself, that becomes like a way that you're able to play. I mean, it really is what we're trying to do with all these different ideas and techniques. You basically become a studier of Mike Campbell's technique by learning his songs. So it's is all I have to say right now. Like it's a little sloppy, and you know, might be because I just did some tracking of my own before I even started this. It might just be like I need to go slower and really watch the tension in both hands. We're gonna push tempo a little bit just for fun. First measure continues to get me. All right. There were some good things I was happy about with that. Like I was playing them pretty well. I was doing the slides nicely. One thing is, you know, one time I put this 4 in as a slide or this 4 in as a slide. As I said before, like Mike recorded this guitar part, right? Like, he laid the track down. But did he think, like, I want to do a slide there? No, he probably did, like, that was a good take. I like how it feels. That has a slide there. Cool. And then John goes through and notates exactly how he played it. So some of it's like he just recorded it on a whim, and this is how it sounded. I'm sure he ran through it. He practiced it. He knew what he wanted to do, but this was the take, whether it be a 4 slide there. So what I'm saying is, like, if you guys are in a cover band and you're playing this time, nobody's going to care if you do a 4 or 5 exactly in the right spot or where that slide is. It's more just getting an idea of it. So 16th notes. Come in on that first measure again. Trying to clean that up. 2, 3, 4. Now, if you go back to day 1 when I first started doing this, I had none of that feeling in my playing. So 6 days for me. 6 days for me to kind of start getting the feeling and the idea of it. Which for me as a player, like, that's okay. I know where my weaknesses and my strengths are. My strengths are not playing stuff exact. So this series will continue to pull that out of me one way or the other. We'll see how I make it on the other side. But already, like, I can get better control of what I'm trying to do. I can make my hands... really, we're just trying to manipulate our hands in a certain way to touch the strings at a certain sound and keep that dynamic throughout. I mean, it's really just explaining what the nuances of guitar playing are. And now it's getting sloppier. Again, getting back into that is always a tricky part for me. But the idea is still staying consistent. So let's speed it up before I'm out of time. Got like 5 minutes left. So I'm happy. Like, even though the session wasn't like, wow, it was a good 40 minutes or so of just really working these tempos, getting them up to faster speeds. That lead guitar part, we already have at full speed now. So, like, every day will just be a little refinement and start looking at the new stuff in the song. Whatever reason, I cannot count this. I can't hear it, right? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now, if I wasn't at the end of my session, I'd probably sit here and slow this down and count this out. I'm more of the attitude right now of like, all right, we're almost done. We're gonna get through this, and probably tomorrow hit this first. So I think that 92 needs to have an asterisk on it because I can't really play it at 92. Again, the rhythm gets me just a little bit. I can play the ideas of it at 92. Now, 92 is really not that far away from full speed, so it's like not overly concerning. One E into 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 E and just it's so not an eighth note, right? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. It's just fast enough that it throws me off my game. 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3, 4, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. And really, you have to be okay with playing sloppy at faster tempos. It's that fine line between learn it slow, really understand it slow. Because if you can't play it slow and you can't count it, you're not going to get it faster. Or it's going to take you so long to get it faster. Understand what you're playing. Then slowly move it to faster tempos. And as you move to faster tempos, when you start getting sloppy, play around with that. Like stay in the slop for a little bit. Don't push past faster tempos yet right away. Then slow it back down. Slow back down, work on it. It's just that back and forth. Now, if you have a higher skill set than I do, you don't need to take this long. I just need to take this long because I'm reestablishing, relearning, and just upping my game. So, all right, this is all I have for time today. Thanks for checking it out. Musicbythemeasurespro.com. We have sheet music for sale.